Hey guys, we have some pretty exciting times ahead of us with Bitcoin right now. Obviously, you guys know I have been pointing out this massive triangle since my first video in March. I know I harp on that every single video, and I also mention that I only do that because I think it's such an important trend line, this top white one here. And we actually did manage to get above it today. This is actually my Bitstamp chart. On my weekly chart, I like to do Bitstamp just because there is a lot more price history as well. I just like to keep kind of a cleaner chart when I'm looking this far out, so it's more so for you guys more than anything. But you guys know how I've been pointing out this triangle for quite some time now. Now I want to take a closer look at what's actually going on here on the 4-hour chart. This is BitMEX chart. And you guys know in my last video I had pointed out this potential ascending triangle in the purple here. And actually kind of funny, guys, is I went out kite surfing after work today, and it was obviously a great session because it's always a good time when you're out, but even better session to see how one of your trades explodes while you're out riding and you make a little extra money while you're out doing what you love. So you guys know I've been pointing out this purple triangle here, and on my way to the lake, I was actually listening to another YouTuber. He's one of the two that I respect a lot in the crypto space. Actually, you know what? There's two of them. One is Four Flies. He is a young man, very, very talented trader. I have actually been in his VIP group before, and I highly recommend as far as learning from somebody. He's very in-depth. He knows his stuff. But one thing I noticed is I didn't like the triangle that he had drawn. I can't remember exactly how it looked, but I just didn't really agree with it. And the other YouTuber I listen to a lot is Crypto Kirby, and again, he is also a very good analyst. These guys are miles above me. Not trying to take anything away from them, but it's this trend I have been looking at it a little bit differently. The one Kirby said is he actually saw this as a descending triangle because we had our series of lower highs here. And he was saying that we had a flat line of, or flat level of support, kind of something like that, with our downward sloping line here. And I just, on the way to the lake, I was actually kind of getting hot about it. The fact that he was looking at it as a descending triangle. Because if you're going to tell me that this is a flat line of support, but this top is not a flat line of support, I mean, you can see which way the pressure is going. The lows are getting higher quicker than the highs are getting lower, so the pressure is building to the upside. If we would have, I would have liked one more test down here to coil up a little further, but these patterns tend to break halfway to 3/4 of the way through, so really it makes perfect sense that this was a perfect ascending triangle. I don't know why it was looked at as a descending triangle. I do get the theory that you're looking at the whole clusters, but I don't know. To me, this was just a very clear-cut triangle, and you guys know I love my triangles. I usually only play fucking triangles. I love them. So now, I also, with all that out of the way, again, I don't want to say anything badly about those two traders. Well, I just think they are fantastic traders, and this is just one pattern that I happen to be looking at different, and it worked out. But anyways, yeah, with that off my chest, I'm going to zoom in a little more here. Actually, I think it was in my last video I pointed out this falling wedge. Maybe it was a couple videos ago. I can't remember, but I did take some plays in there. Now if I zoom into the 15-minute, let's see what I've been looking at today and yesterday. In our WhatsApp chat group, for those of you who are in it, you know that I pointed out this yellow falling wedge here. And guys, just so that you don't think that I'm only a moon boy, because I have been talking bullishly about Bitcoin for quite a while now in my videos, I did actually look at this with this green line of support and this red resistance line here. I actually did enter a short. With this red close here, when we dropped below the green line, I was expecting quite a dump actually. I was expecting to test this weekly trend line again, so I was willing to go short there. So I'm not always only looking at the bullish side, guys. That's not my jam. But as soon as we got, so ended up putting a short in just kind of below this green old support, looking at new resistance. So I basically did nail just the top of that candle there. But when we got our red close here, followed by another green close, it was looking more and more like a bit of a fake out to me. And a lot of times with fake outs, if you do cross an important trend line and then break back above right away, it's often a sign that things are going to reverse. And quite often they'll be quite dramatic. So what I did, as soon as I saw this green close, and I extended a line from this wick to this wick, and I was looking at for, well, possibly getting a third touch here, and with the green candle close there, it almost, I guess, reassured me that this was actually looking like it could play out as a falling wedge. And I did end up pointing that out to our chat group, so hopefully you guys caught that. Another thing is, so that was yesterday. Today, I pointed out this red triangle here. I believe we had this touch point and we had this touch point, and I extended that line. So I said I was looking at a potential ascending triangle forming, and then we got our third touch point bang on that line, as well as with our green line, new possible resistance there. So I had a couple ways of looking at this. One, I was right about this resistance line up here. Two, technically, since it was our third touch point, I could consider that a triple top, but we didn't end up dumping. We just kept going, and we even tested it a fourth time and then broke above. So I had mentioned to the group that I was looking for ascending triangle there. I did not expect it to go this far. One thing that is pretty intense is that you guys know how I have my weekly trend line here. I just pointed it out on that bigger chart. We did get above it, and we actually did even consolidate above it a little bit. But the fact that we're already closing below it, and now, well, one thing I should mention is, since it is a weekly trend line, when I'm zoomed into the 15 like this, it could very well be slightly off. But I was pretty dang close, because you can see here that we did have a bit of a cluster trying to treat it as new support. But quite often what will happen is, when we have these very crucial trend lines, is you'll have one actual breakout above, but consider it a bit of a fake out, because since we haven't tested this line in quite some time, I wouldn't be surprised that we break it, but it just doesn't quite have the strength to hold. So either maybe we get this red upper trend line to come in as support, or that purple trend line of that ascending triangle that I pointed out earlier. Maybe we'll drop back down to that and test that. For now, it's kind of hard to say. Either way, this was a great pump. With the break of that triangle, well, like I said, I was out kite surfing, and when I got back, my phone had a whole bunch of alerts. It was purple trend line cross, red trend line cross, and massive bullish triangle cross. And when I saw that, I was just thinking, holy shit, like, this was all within a couple hours of me being out, when really it was actually mostly a 15-minute period. But either way, I was having a blast out there kite surfing, and to come back and see that you are sitting at about 107% profit just while you're out having fun for a couple hours is pretty freaking cool. And also, one of the main reasons why I got into trading is because I want to be able to do that sort of thing when and where I want. So that's kind of what's keeping me driven to keep on these charts and keep trading, and just fine tune my patterns and that sort of stuff. So hopefully you guys have been learning a little bit from what I've been showing. I know you guys probably know by now that I have been quite accurate with these triangles in the past. Most of my videos I'm pointing out triangles, and most often they're either right, or I show you where I'm looking at getting out of my position. So anyways, those patterns right there played out beautifully. And now that we've broke that white trend line, even though we are below it now, it's good to see that we are starting to flirt with it. And I know in previous videos I have said that if we got above this white line, that I was expecting some sort of a test of this line before actually breaking it. And right now it is just kind of looking like a bit of a fake out. So, I mean, since this is a weekly chart, even if we get above this fairly quickly and retest this, like, this move could actually take quite a while, but it is very interesting and exciting because, again, we're seeing my triangle patterns come into play. And honestly, I kind of wanted a bit of a fake out here anyways, because right now, the way this chart stands, I only had my 1 and 2 touch points, and you guys know I love getting 3 before I make a play. Being this is a longer time period, like a weekly chart, I mean, I am willing to trade, I guess, a little differently because I usually zoom into the 1 hour, or 4 hour, or 15-minute, as you guys know. But it's very interesting to see, and if we do actually get some confirmed candle closes above this, it is going to change the way I look at trading quite a bit. I am going to be a lot more leaning towards the bullish trade setups, falling wedges, ascending triangles, that sort of stuff. I might be a little more hesitant to short at a time like this if we do get above this and stay above that white line. So again, guys, none of this is financial advice. Do your own research. It's a very risky market. Times are very uncertain right now. But as far as the chart goes, this looks very healthy. And really, I think, where was I? I think I started making my videos somewhere in here, and I've had these 2 white trend lines drawn since then. And so far, basically everything I've said there has been coming true. So I mean, I would not be surprised if in the next few months we see some sort of a retest of this triangle and really start to take off from there and have an actual bull market and leave this 2.5-year bear market or whatever it is. So, of course, you can play the swings both ways. You can make money shorting, all that sort of stuff. But if I am going to look at playing shorts in the near future, especially if we get above this white line, I would be looking at setting my take profits very quickly and getting out of my shorts and looking more so for long entries. Like I said, triangles, falling wedges, that sort of stuff. With that being said, guys, I think that's about where I'm going to leave it. I just wanted to make a video quick because of the starting to flirt with this weekly line that I've been watching for such a long time, that even though we're not confidently staying above it, I am still very excited just to see this triangle starting to become more of a filled out triangle. And you guys know that earlier I had mentioned that these patterns tend to break about 50% to 75% of the way through. If you ask me, this is kind of right around that 3/4 of the way through this pattern. I mean, this pattern started, if you go from where I'm measuring it from, and I don't want to sound cocky, but I'm pretty good at noticing triangle patterns. Like, this pattern started in July of 2017, which is a lot longer than I've even been in the space. So the size of this pattern is just massive, and that's why I'm thinking that it could actually be the start of a real bull market, which we haven't seen in years, which I have never actually seen because I got into the space somewhere up here. So, that being said, guys, hopefully you've learned a little something. If you could just give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, give me a subscribe if you hadn't. One other thing I wanted to mention is, you guys know that I had said that I pointed out these 2 patterns on our group chat. One thing I want to do is this weekend, potentially, I want to start looking into starting a Telegram group. And for now, it would just be a free one, but I can't always get on YouTube and start recording videos at any given time of the day, whereas on a group like that, I can just post my technical analysis, which is what I did with these 2 patterns. I never made a video about them, but I was active about talking about them. So that's something I want to do, and that way people can just join for free. You can see my analysis. You can trade off my analysis if it works out with what you're looking at, but obviously you have the final say. Do your own research, and you are the one to pull the trigger on that. But I would like to be able to share my technical analysis a little easier and quicker to a larger amount of people. So that's something I'm going to start looking into, and from there I might eventually, I would like to do some sort of a paid alert system where you can actually get access to my trades, my entries, stop losses, take profits, all that sort of stuff. So until then, I want to start with the free group. Hopefully look into that this weekend if I get a chance. But we're going to have to see how that goes and see how much I struggle with technology. Because if I'm proving anything, it's that you don't have to be a genius to do this. But it's good to get a little influence, get your head in the same mind space as other traders, that sort of stuff. That's something that Four Flies really emphasizes, is getting in that successful mindset, and just surround yourself in other people who want to do this same thing and how they're looking at the markets and that sort of stuff. So it's good, even just as like an extra indicator, really. If you're looking at something and I'm seeing the same technical analysis, we can either discuss it or you can just have that on your radar, that sort of stuff. So guys, with that, I'm done ranting, and hopefully you enjoyed the content. Again, give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, and until next time, stay safe, have fun, and peace out.